Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another bite-sized Thursday, a subsidiary of Off Slate Media. I'm Jared, this is Jake, and we're working through Star Wars Visions. And so far, I've liked every single one. Today is the 6th episode of the series, titled T0-B1. Oh, good, it's a droid one, which, as we all know, those are the best. Jake and I have both worked through Clone Wars and Rebels, and those tend to be the worst episodes.
Yeah, but at least it's a droid that we don't know.
Yeah.
It also looks like it's kind of in the style of Astro Boy.
Yeah, I looked at the animation studio, Science Saru, or SARU. I was looking at some of the stuff they've worked on. I've seen one of them, The Night is Short, Walk On Girl, which is based on a Marimi novel. Movie's great. It's really fun. It's really funny. They also worked on Lu Over the Wall, Ride Your Wave, Inu O, which came out in 2021, which was their most recent thing, or something coming out this year is The Colors Within. Some animated series they've worked on is Adventure Time Food Chain, Space Dandy, OKKO, Let's Be Heroes. Promotional episodes for that, it says. I'm scrolling and seeing if there's any more. Oh, they worked on Scott Pilgrim Takes Off.
Yes.
And they're working on a new like Ghost in the Shell based thing. So, yeah. The one big thing other than the Scott Pilgrim, of course, that I've seen. I really like the animation. It was very distinct. I haven't looked at the animation for this episode specifically, but if it's anything similar to Night is Short, Walk On Girl, should be fun. I don't know anything else about this episode, and anything droid episode based is better than watching 3PO and R2 go find dessert for dinner and run into Cad Bane. That is the worst episode of Clone Wars, by far. By far.
I don't know. There are some stinkers in there.
That one, like the whole episode, real quick. The whole episode is basically Padme's putting on a dinner. She tells 3PO and R2 to go get this thing for
the
dessert.
groceries.
Yeah, go get this like one thing. And they go out and they have a little misadventure. They run into Cad Bane for a second, and then they come back. Like, it is the most pointless episode ever.
And then Cad Bane shows up in Book of Boba Fett for 2 seconds.
I love Cad Bane.
I do. I wish they'd have done more with him.
Yeah, but that's a whole separate thing. Let's see how this episode works. Anything else to say before we go?
Let's
take a bite. Welcome back, everyone. We just watched T0-B1, or T0-B, as he's referred to in the episode by Mitaka, the armless Jedi scientist dude.
I still think that it was his arms in that Sith guy, or in the Inquisitor.
Of course. So, it was okay.
I was a little bit more annoyed by this than the rest of them.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's just a preference thing and a style thing.
The style, I could tell it was similar to the previous things I'd seen. I would say the style was closer to the Scott Pilgrim style than the Night is Short style, but of course it's more of an Astro Boy looking style. Feels more like a.
I don't think I would even liken it to Scott Pilgrim. It was way more bouncy.
That's why I said it was closer to that than the Night is Short style, because the Night is Short style is very sketchy, not like sketchy, like looks like sketches, very loose. But then,
like, for me, anyways, they did that whole chalk-ish sequence,
which was
very cool. Best part, I would say, best part of it.
Yeah.
But then also, like, the background is all in that style, and so I think it just didn't blend.
Yeah,
it's a preference thing. It didn't blend well over the course of the entire episode for my preference.
Yeah.
I also didn't like the way it was mixed.
And the kid's voice is annoying because we're watching, of course, the English dub, as all these are the English dub, and the kid's voice is a little irritating in preference. But when he does 80% of the talking,
but also
sense.
The fight is
the fight's good.
Yeah, the fight's good.
that's where they flex their animating muscles, and it showed that there's one frame where the Inquisitor, he stabs his hand through a rock with a lightsaber, but because of the angle, it looks like he straight up like stabbed him right through the middle of his chest, and it was a pretty intense shot.
To be clear,
whoa.
The Inquisitor stabs the hand of Toby
Yeah.
through the rock. That's not what you said.
Yeah, stabs
You
his
said
hand.
stabs him through the hand into a rock.
Yeah.
Or you said stabs his hand through a rock.
Yeah, I meant Toby, but it's... Yeah. I was like, whoa!
Yeah, no, that was... Well, and then the Inquisitor, like, his jaw is moving, but he's clearly not, like, humanoid because his jaw looks like stone.
Yeah, and then the first half of the fight is good. The second half was a little weirdly paced. It was quick, and it's like, because things are lost in translation, it's like they have to speed up.
Because Disney gave us 15 minutes, we don't really have enough time to tell the story we want.
Yeah, it felt like 4 or 5 episodes, like an arc to start an anime, where this is the origin, where like the first episode is him being created and then finding out about the Kyber crystal, and then the next couple episodes are him getting to learn things and wanting to go out, and then the second to last episode is where Mitaka dies, and then the last episode being the Inquisitor coming. Like, you can see where this could be spaced out into an arc.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions. Who built Mitaka's grave? How?
I don't know. Just all of a sudden, the altar of rocks was there, and we're like, who did that?
Secondary question: how does a robot cry?
I don't know.
My modern media brain, the curse we often talk about, thought it was going to pull something like, "Oh, he rebuilt Toby in this robot with a soul," or like they were going to reveal that the Inquisitor was like Toby. They made it seem like Toby was a Padawan that Mitaka,
yep.
Mitaka somehow lost.
Yeah, again,
it happens very quick.
Yeah, the story is bigger than the short or episode. It technically is a short. It's an episode of a show, but since these are all self-contained, it's basically a short film. And this is one whereas the others were like, I'd take a whole movie or whole show of this. This one is like, I could, but
I don't think I would. I think I'd get. It'd have to be mixed better for me. It was, and the more I looked at it, the more I listened to it, I was like, the sound is just really grinding at me, and I don't know why. Nothing against animators, sound design people, whatever. They make the art that they want to make, but for my preference, it just got to me.
Yeah, it felt very like early morning Saturday, like
for me,
cartoon as well.
Yeah, for me it felt, because of that mixing, it felt separated from what I was watching.
Yeah.
In some capacity.
Especially during the fight, the second half of the fight, there are less sound effects. Like, big things would be happening, like lightsabers hitting stuff, but there wasn't that much sound. It was mostly the talking.
There wasn't a whole lot of like lightsaber sounds of them colliding or anything like that.
And maybe that's a choice, but I did notice that. And yeah, it's probably
I'd still take it over a lot of the Star Wars stuff we get.
Yeah, it's probably my least favorite one so far, but there have been some really good ones. So yeah, this was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
it's kind
Abel Gongora.
Is that what's
next?
Is
the director, I believe, of this. Okay, the director is a Spanish director from Spain. Let's see if I know anything he's worked on. Yep, the same stuff that Science Saru has worked on. Did he do it? Okay. He was the animation supervisor on Night is Short. Looks like he was the director of the Scott Pilgrim Takes Off show.
I love that show.
Or in some capacity.
Maybe someday we'll have to go through that show on Bite Sized.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
It would be fun.
Yeah, but I mean, it's fun to see all these different animation styles because, as we've said multiple times, it's the ultimate medium. You can do so much with it. There are many different styles. It's a shame that a lot of media, especially mainstream movies, tend to be just boring CG stuff, which again the animators are doing their job. And what do we always say? Underpaid, overworked, underappreciated. So they're just doing their job, but it's a shame that a lot of stuff doesn't feel like there's voice or artistry in it compared to what we have. There's a lot out there that does, but a lot of what makes the big bucks doesn't tend to have as much, or maybe that's just our perspective being in our 30s.
Illustrated in most of the other series that we've covered on this is it requires a different type of care to hand animate something versus what Pixar does and what DreamWorks does, which a lot of them we have outright said they just feel soulless and like a part of my brain is not thinking of the word
assembly line.
There you go. I mean, there are standouts obviously, and there are people that care about those stories very clearly, but there's just, I think
there's a disconnect.
Yeah.
At least for us. You grew up with the Disney Renaissance while it was happening, and I grew up watching those movies and kind of in the aftermath of it, being 8 years younger than you. So we both have been brought up on these very popular movies that also had that hand-drawn touch to it. 'Cause of course, like now, it is still hand-drawn, but it's not like they're drawing on paper like they used to for everything. Now, it is done on computers for these types of things, but they're still like drawing it, and there's texture and shading to it that's different. Again, we're not animators. We're doing our best.
I'm not knocking on any of the CG animators. It's a different style of animation. Do I wish that it was the prominent type of animation that was out there? No, I really don't.
Yeah. But there have been examples of it being different and creative.
And I do think that people are starting to flex the medium a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I think we've gotten to a tipping point, and people are starting to flex it. Like, Element. I'm looking at that list that's up there. Yeah. Elemental, I think, flexes it pretty well.
Yep. The two Spider-Verse movies are a big, big example. Captain Underpants and the Peanuts movie were kind of the start of that for like bigger studios putting them out. Mm-hmm. You've got Klaus uses a lot of the CG, but again uses it to look like hand drawn. That's another example.
Well, they blend. Don't they blend some stop motion animation in there too? It's like
I don't think
it's
so.
That weird kind of stop motion animation where it's very fluid and clearly done on a computer.
Yeah,
it's not like they built models from Klaus. It just
I think it's taking the CG and making it look like it's hand drawn. Yeah. I don't think there's stop motion to that.
What kind of a world are we in? We're on the second half of that cycle where we used to take things and make them look CG, and now we're taking CG things to try to make them look real.
Yeah, and that's the caveat with animation: is the more real we make things look, the more how to put this. It's going to be harder to distinguish what's real and what's not in just everyday footage, and that scares me. And that's a whole rabbit hole that we don't have time for here, talking about this funny little Star Wars
also
short.
A different sort of thing. I don't know that I'd call that animation so much as reconstruction.
Well, I'd call it animation.
Maybe.
Because they're making a lot of that from scratch, using the same, like, similar stuff that they use for those CG animated movies. I'm just talking about like in like Marvel movies making backgrounds because they don't even film outside anymore.
Oh, they just use those big LED screens.
Yeah, or literally as a green screen. They're creating everything, and it's like this is a little scary. It also doesn't look good, so it's a ways away. But also, you've seen how fast technology moves. It might be closer than we think. But going back to T0-B1 or T0-B, that's fine. It's cool to see, again, different styles.
Oh, T0-B1. I thought you said T0-B01.
Nope. So, yeah. It's nice to get another style, a different take, and still enjoying this. It's been refreshing to see Star Wars not feel like the same thing over and over and over. Again. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Here, let me.
Where's my script?
Right here. So, Jake, Where can they find us?
If you want to go on more lightsaber duels with us, come back next Thursday. In between there, you can check us out. We have an episode. We're going through Marvel right now on Tuesdays, right? We're going through Marvel. Check us out on Tuesdays. But beyond that, you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, also known as X, Instagram, our ever funny TikTok. And if you want to just listen to our podcast, you can check us out on Apple, Spotify, Google, if it's still around.
So, iHeartRadio.
Anywhere you get your podcasts, really. And then, of course, you can check us out right here on YouTube. Subscribe, ring that bell, get notified when we upload new videos. And hey, if there's anywhere you listen to us where there's a rating system, go ahead and give us that rating. It really helps us out. And then we'll just catch you next time. And I don't really know what the next episode is. I will leave that in Jared's hands.
The next episode, the 7th episode, is called The Elder. Another Studio Trigger episode. If you recall, Studio Trigger also did The Twins, which was the 3rd episode. So we'll have to see what their second offering in this series is, but that's next week. And until then,
let's
take a bite.